We are at the absolute dawn of this.
When people talk about sea level rise, they don't talk about people like us.
That traditional concept that there's only one way to love is dissolving.
Remember bars? Before the pandemic, we'd go here to grab a cold one, catch up with friends, perhaps attempt to find love. And these days, we know that sounds pretty old-fashioned. They say love is patient, love is kind, love never fails. But dating? Yeah, dating is none of those things. Dating is messy, and it's always changing. A decade ago, about 1 in 5 heterosexual couples met online. Today, that's nearly doubled. And for same-sex couples, the number's even higher. In 50 years, meeting your partner IRL may be a thing of the past. All you'll need is love and a virtual reality headset.
Virtual reality is an artificial environment that surrounds you completely, that is so high quality that allows you to move within it and interact with the objects and people within it with such fidelity that your brain begins to believe and behave as though these are your real world surroundings. You can put on a headset and be in there with somebody who has a headset on 3,000 miles away.
Wait, here's Amr of Egypt. Amr.
Nice to meet you. I'm Cody.
Nice to meet you too.
Not only can we communicate with people who aren't there in our physical space, but we can do it in a physical space that we share despite not being in the same one. That's remarkable.
Virtual reality was once the stuff of science fiction,
Virtual reality holds a key to the evolution of the human mind.
but now it's possible to buy a consumer-ready headset for less than the price of a smartphone. In 2014, there were just 200,000 active users worldwide. 4 years later, that number jumped to 171 million.
Let me get my avatar logged
Yes,
in to
do
where we
you.
need to go.
Do you? Yes.
And I will teleport your avatar to where I am.
Donna Davis is the scholar on embodied experience and identity in virtual reality. Her research focuses on emerging social media and its impact on marginalized populations.
Come sit.
Oh, yes.
It is so you.
It's very me.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain to me like a little bit about identity, because when I first look at this, like I want it to look
Just
like
like
like me, but like my ideal self as well.
And that's super common in all of these spaces.
Okay. Do people tell you that it's easier to put your best self forward in this virtual world rather than physical world?
Well, yes and no. We've often said, the people I work with, the people in world, in these environments, you get to know each other from the inside out, because you're really getting a chance to talk to the person without all of the expectations that come with our visual bias.
So virtual reality can kind of take away the boxes society puts us in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, there we go. So that was my first rhinoplasty. It was pretty painless. Well, that looks like I went to Pandora. The better to hear you with, Donna.
Oh, and there's your skin popping right out. You are so buff.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
All right, so then save. Okay, so you ready for a headset?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Here goes nothing.
There you go. You're on your way. All right, I'll see you there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is insane. Oh, this is incredible. Oh, this is like being at a club.
We probably need to go to 114 Harvest and meet with our folks there.
Oh my gosh, I'm still stimulated. Like my heart is racing. That was so fun.
Now you understand.
Welcome to 114 Harvest. This neighborhood is where Donna Davis and her friends hang out in VR.
Hello, what are you guys doing in my mom's basement? I know
Uncle
some
Drax,
of these
please,
guys.
yes. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Cody. From left to right, if you could just introduce yourself and where you live in the physical world.
I'm Granddad Got Mojo. I'm from Texas, from Fort Worth.
Granddad was actually DJing at that dance.
I'm Shyla the Super Gecko, and I'm in the physical world. I'm in Chicagoland.
I'm from Denmark in Scandinavia.
What attracted you to VR? What brought you to this space?
I'm here primarily because I'm disabled in the physical world, and I think had I not become disabled, I wouldn't have learned about virtual worlds. When I'm home in the physical world, I'm pretty isolated. I have an aide who comes twice a week, and other than that, I'm home alone. And so having a sense of community and social outlet is very important. I feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I would if I had met them in the physical world, but I didn't. I met them here in the virtual world. But the feelings and the compassion and the empathy and the caring and the love, no different.
We are real people, and we're connecting across all sorts of geographical and other boundaries and things that divide us. And the avatar that we have obscures other things that we judge in the physical world, like age, gender, and so on and so forth.
What benefits do you think virtual reality can bring to human communication?
In virtual worlds, each person has the ability to decide how much to share when. And I sometimes think this actually works better for me. For most people, when they see a person who's disabled, who's in a chair, most of the time I think people are perplexed as to what to say or how to interact. And I get away from all of that by being here in the virtual world.
Will this further divide us, or will it unite us, or like most things, is it going to do both?
I think one thing that's happening here at 114 Harvest is we have made a conscious effort to be a supportive and uplifting and inclusive community. Being open and receptive and welcoming goes a long way to keep the humanity of this environment in check. A hug in the physical world is still warmer than a hug in the virtual world. But if I can't get a hug in the physical world, it is amazing how much a hug in the virtual world will do.
When the internet came around and you could be totally anonymous and talk to people on message boards and forums and things like that, what ended up happening is people were so emboldened by this anonymity that they would just unburden themselves to people. They would tell their life story, they would tell their deepest, darkest secrets. And then if a friendship formed very quickly, and those people would meet in real life, it kind of came with this, oh, we've never actually interacted. Now what VR does is it starts with a degree of anonymity because you put on this headset and you're like, I'm not really there, I can say what I want, I can do what I want. But because VR is immediate, because VR is voice and movement, there's no curation. You are you. And by the time that relationship moves to the real world, the outside world, you know exactly who you're getting. And so the question of how we use VR is going to be, is it going to supplant these traditional means that we have of meeting people?
We came to Vancouver to talk to people already operating in VR in a professional sense, and we want to know if they'd ever use it for their personal relationships.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. Would you ever consider dating in VR?
Ooh.
Absolutely.
I would absolutely consider.
Yeah, I think so, I would.
Why not? Honestly, just because of distances and being able to connect with people anyway.
Because it opens up a whole world of possibilities of places to go and things to do and conversations to have in an environment where you'd feel maybe more open and safe to have those kind of conversations.
There's something to actually getting to know somebody and getting to interact with them and getting to dismiss them, quite frankly, before getting all dressed up.
It would be a good way to start a first date and see if you're getting along, and VR is a good solution for it.
I don't think I will.
Why?
I don't know, it feels kind of impersonal. Maybe I'll prefer to date like in person.
I think that in the future, all relations between men's and women's will be genuine in VR.
Maybe the idea of dating in VR doesn't seem all that strange in a time when social distance has become a norm. In June 2020, eHarmony conducted a survey of nearly 3,000 users who turned to video dating in quarantine. 90% said it was a good way to learn more about their matches. And 7 out of 10 people said they will continue using video dating even after it's safe to meet in person. It's not as immersive as VR, but shows the digital direction dating is going.
I often hear that modern technology is going to kill love. It can't kill love. This is a basic brain system like the fear system or the anger system that emanates from the very basic bottom of the brain. You can't kill romantic love whether you swipe left or right on Tinder. What's really changing is courtship. I mean, in my day, a boy drove up to my parents' house and invited me out after dinner, and it was sort of a look-see. And on the grasslands of Africa a million years ago, a young person or older person would meet a partner around a water hole with their family all around. These days, we're courting all by ourselves. And we're courting with text messages and Snapchat and Instagram. So courtship is changing because of technology, but you can't kill love. And in fact, people have always been so scared of new technology. There's nothing wrong with this technology of dating sites and dating apps. Our problem with them is that people don't understand them. They don't know how to use them.
Have you ever experienced virtual reality technology in any capacity?
No, I haven't. I'd like to. I'm sure that if I was in a complete world of virtual reality, it would be very interesting to me. I like adventure.
We are at the absolute dawn of this, of seeing where this goes. Like the internet and the advent of the smartphone changed dating in some fundamental ways, VR is going to do the same thing. I think what is going to happen is we are going to meet as avatars. You'll be your own profile page, and all these artfully constructed versions of ourselves that we put in the world are going to kind of disappear. The next question, of course, is what happens if you meet someone and they're on the other side of the country? If they were really here, I'd just ask them to come up for coffee. How convincing will that be across distance, virtually?
Because of VR, we're actually able to have a very successful marriage. I don't feel like I'm lacking much in VR.
Tell me about your first experience in VR.
Whenever I first tried it, I was so amazed. Whenever I first got on VR chat and I started talking to people, I was hooked. Being in VR, it makes everything disappear. All that matters is what I see through the game.
Magic.
Turn around.
Is virtual reality a game?
Sometimes. Whenever I first started playing it, it was a game. But then whenever I started getting more in depth into it, it became more of daily life. And I got to deal with some issues that I couldn't deal with in real life. I'm really insecure. But in game, I can be the person that, I want to be. I love the avatars that I create. I love the way they look, and I can show people a different side of me that I can't in real life, or at least I feel like I can't in real life.
Do your walls come down easier in virtual reality than in the physical world?
Most definitely.
Why do you think that is?
I could turn it off if I want to, and I feel like as though that a lot of people I'm probably not gonna see again. They don't know what I look like, they don't know my name, they don't know where I live, they don't know anything about me except for what they see. You could see me though, right? You could see my
From Houston, Texas, Naomi and I talked to her husband, Mick, who is physically in rural Denmark, more than 5,000 miles away. But in VR, we're all in the same place at the same time. We're initializing world.
Okay, initializing world.
Lovely. So just describe to me how you guys first met. Naomi, did you just start following this dancing fox around everywhere?
Well, okay, so I used to be a Twitch streamer. And my viewers wanted to see more of like episodes of, marriage on VR chat and everything, and I saw him dancing.
Yep.
And I wanted to dance with him. And so we started dancing and everything. And then I asked him to marry me, role play wise.
And I said, yeah, sure, let's try it. Because I've never done it.
So on day one, you proposed, essentially.
Yes.
How do you know when you were like dating for real though?
Whenever I would turn off my computer and I would still message him on Discord, and I couldn't seem to stop talking to him.
I just enjoyed talking to her because she seems like we had the same interest, we like the same music. 3 months later, I started developing feelings for her. I somehow fell in love with just her as like her avatar.
I can't believe that it's been a year since we've been together. I know that I cannot show you in person how much you mean to me, but I can show you in many other ways, the best that I can.
Whenever I got to actually meet the person, I was well overwhelmed by what I saw.
When we first met, he actually flew from Denmark to Houston, and then we drove from Houston to California, and it was his first time in America too. He's like, well, let's go out to dinner. It's our first actual date, by the way. And I'm reading the menu and stuff, and he's looking at me. So I look at him, and he has the ring out, and he has the box. Then I started crying, and I said yes. And
Dearly beloved, we meet here today to witness a sacred ceremony, the union of Naomi and Mick.
I want to spend the rest of my life showing you that I will always be there for you, even when you don't need me. I love you and always will.
I still remember the day that I first married you in VR chat. And since then, I know that's what I wanted. With this ring, I thee wed.
With this ring, I thee wed.
By the power invested in me by the state of Texas and by the Universal Life Church, I now pronounce you, Mick and Naomi, as husband and wife, lawfully wedded before God. You may now congratulate.
Naomi and Mick are one of the first couples to be legally married in VR chat. Their marriage was recognized under Texas state law, which requires couples be married in a ceremony together without specifying that ceremony must be in the physical world. Even after marriage, Naomi and Mick still live on 2 different continents due to visa complications, and it could take up to 5 years before they can live in Denmark together.
That's one of the most complicated things about this, especially with being VR, is because like I feel like I'm holding him back from so much, and that he can be happy with someone else. But every single time he tells me that he doesn't want anyone else, he wants me. So it makes me feel a lot better.
I mean, isn't that like love at its root? It's just like unconditional and...
Yeah, I've never had that.
Do you think you're escaping reality, or are you just creating a new one?
I think both. I think I'm creating a new one by being with my friends and everything. You know, we're like family.
I mean, you have a husband.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's crazy to me. When do you see him next?
And tomorrow.
What are you feeling?
I'm excited. I get to see him again. And
I mean, your face is lighting up. I'm like jealous for you.
Yes. This is actually happening. Like, he's gonna be here. He's almost here. Goodness, I'm so emotional. There he is. I'm so happy.
What made you want to move to Denmark and him not come here?
I don't really have anything holding me back here. He has his whole family. He has everyone. I don't want to be that person that takes him away from that. And sometimes I also feel like I'm on the other side of the world. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take like 5 years till we can actually be together and where I can live in Denmark with him. And he makes me feel like it's not gonna be that hard. And VR makes it feel like it's not gonna be that hard.
What do you think the future of dating in virtual reality looks like?
I think it's gonna be more of a norm. I honestly believe that whenever they said, oh yeah, we met on a dating website, you don't have VR? That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how we're scared of new technology, but the brain hasn't changed in 300,000 years, and it's not going to change if we can see somebody with virtual reality than if we met them in a water hole a million years ago. The brain is the brain. The bottom line is that old, traditional concept that there's only one way to love and only one way to have a marriage is dissolving. And we are beginning to be able to express love when we want, where we want, and how we want. And I think that's going to lead to more stable partnerships.